we have looked at this. Smart Elections has looked at this. Free Speech for People, with their panel of cybersecurity experts, they wrote a paper. They've talked about, if you were going to pull this off, how could you do it? We've avoided this. We've avoided talking about the speculation. Why? Because we felt like there wasn't enough evidence yet. We're starting to get to that point. We're starting to get to the point where lawsuits are really bringing into question what's going on. So I'll answer this. As we talked about, there's two major brands in the US for these tabulation machines. There's a third and a fourth that's still pretty common. What's interesting, as we've started to see, per Smart Elections research, per some of the stuff we've pulled out of Pennsylvania, we've done records requests in Pennsylvania, we are finding that there's really only two auditing labs in the US, two companies that audit and actually certify our voting systems. There's two companies that do it. One of them is ProVNV. The other, I believe, is, I'll have to look at the exact name. It's some variants of SLI, I believe. And what's interesting is, as we've dug a little deeper into these companies that are certifying our machines, some of the most important machines in our country.
Yeah, the entire the machines that are the entire liberty and democracy are based on. Yeah, they're kind of important. Yeah,
they are the linchpin of our democracy, if you will.
Agreed.
And we are starting to find cracks in the facade that our elections are absolutely free and fair, and we've looked and we've checked. And the problem is, in Cambria County alone, they said they certified some of their voting machines. They put out they do a pre-election inspection, and they certify their machines. They make sure everything is good. They test them. They have paperwork for this. They said, hey, we did every single one of our machines. We certified all of the types. We're finding now in records requests, they lied. They didn't actually test the machines that they are telling everyone that they tested, machines that processed thousands of votes in Cambria County alone. And the question we're starting to have is, even if they did certify those machines, the companies that are doing these inspections are starting to raise red flags. We started looking at who are the people running these companies,
right?
Where are they hosted, where are they licensed, and where are they coming from? We're starting to find that ProVNV, for example, the owner of that company seems to have some strong connections with some other questionable entities. They have, apparently he's been a part of multiple certification companies that have shut down and been shut down because of poor performance or other issues, and he has changed companies over time. We're starting to find issues where one of the leading the certification companies that Pennsylvania uses may not actually exist, or may not actually be licensed in the state that their paperwork says that they're doing tests in. We're investigating this right now. We're actually looking at all of the things.
Holy shit.
But it brings up questions. Who's actually looking at this? Who's actually double checking?
And why wouldn't, except for the people that are manipulating the votes, why wouldn't everybody be banging on doors like what? And why wouldn't we have a congressional hearing about this? Have you guys done any feelers out to that? Like, we need to have a congressional hearing about this.
Not only have we reached out to almost all of the major swing state governments, Pennsylvania, Nevada. We've reached out to other bluer states. We've reached out to places. We've sent personalized packets of data with a report to the governors of some of these states that we've not made public yet. Silence, absolute silence. And I think at this point they are aware. I've seen, I've had confirmation that people received our things.
All right, here's what we're going to do.
Whatever reason.
Also a fear that he is now in this interim going to destroy the ballots. I mean, why would he?
The data still exists. So here's my question.
How?
Do me a favor. I would like, can you send me the list of people you've sent it to? We're going to do a podcast about it next week, and we're calling everybody out. Here's the problem. When you don't call people out on stuff that is obviously a problem, and you let them continue to be silent, they stay silent. If you start talking shit about them, and I put it out to 400,000 people, how many people watch us, depending on the thing, or 100,000, and 200 of those call the governor's office and go, "The fuck are you guys doing?" Eventually that comes out. So let's get that from you, okay? When you can, tell me who you sent it to, and we're going to call them out.
And I
think maybe next time as well, we could probably pull up one of their responses and actually
that would be awesome.
See what they wrote back to us and go over some of their counter points and why they don't feel like meeting with us or looking at the data is worth.
Did you get some
letters?
letters?
Get a response.
You're going to need more slides.
We did get a letter in response.
Did you?
I did.
Did they say there is no list? Is that what they said?
We got a letter in response from Pennsylvania a month back or so before we sent them even more data, even more analysis, and refuted some of their counterclaims. And then they denied us again. So we tried to sit down with the secretaries of state. We've tried to, be like, hey, we will come to you and we will have a little meeting. We'll have a Zoom meeting and we'll talk and we'll just explain our concerns and our problems. We'll pay for the recount in specific places. And they have said no. So
as of mid-June, the Trump DOJ is demanding an unprecedented amount of election data. We know documents obtained by NPR that they have pressured Colorado's Secretary of State to turn over all records relating to 2024 federal elections, as well as preserve any records that remain from 2020.
What's really interesting is a lot of the compliance stuff that's happening with Pennsylvania's systems is done in Colorado. Now, and what's interesting is, as I mentioned before, we're looking at the companies that have signed off on double checking the machines, have looked at any updates to the machines and said, hey, these aren't going to compromise the machines. We're finding that one of them, as we talked about before, I think it's called SLI compliance or SLI global. SLI global is what's listed on some of their documents we got from the counties, but they don't actually seem to exist. And if they do exist, they stopped working in 2021. So we're really confused about who's actually looking at our machines and if they're even licensed in Colorado to look at the machines. It's really opened up some interesting questions. And we'll put out reports and we'll highlight this kind of going forward.
Yeah,
because
do me a favor, keep us up on all this. Here's the thing. I am so frustrated again and angry. What bothers me the most is that democracy dies in silence. It just does. Democracy dies in silence. And if these people are not going to at least listen, at least look at it. At least look at it. Get, let's say they say you or me or whatever. Libtard Democrats. All right. Let some scientists. So not that you're not a scientist, but you know what I mean. Give it to anybody. Give it to anybody. Just give it to anybody. And just who knows what they're talking about. Because just what little I know, I'm like, that's impossible. What you've shown me repeatedly is impossible to happen. It can't happen. And especially when you compare it, it's never happened in the past. Like when you brought up the Reagan thing and how many districts flipped and then how Trump flipped, how many districts Trump flipped. It is so far outside the norm that
actually I will highlight. You said it hasn't happened in the past. We found in 2004 in Ohio, there were some similar effects, some similar anomalies that were showing up in the voting data per Stephen Spoonamore. And they launched an investigation. They found concerns that there could have been some compromise with Ohio's local election systems. So to say it doesn't happen in the past, nothing like this has happened at this scale in the past, but we have some key indicators.
That's what I meant. I mean, like you can get some weasel in the, some state's going to try to win his election. You can get it just ballot stuffing, whatever, to handle it like with the tech that it would take to do this and to have one of the world's best tech guys involved in the election to the point where he paid $260 million. He said a couple things since they've been fighting that you're like, wait, what does he know? So
he also told Tucker Carlson.
There was a direct tweet, right?
He said, if Trump loses, I'm fucked, in an interview with Tucker Carlson.
There was a recent, I don't want to have to be the one to pull it up, but there was a recent tweet during the previous feud where he did, I think he deleted it. Let's see if we can find that and you quote that for me.
The Epstein one?
He did talk about the presidential race.
Oh.
Yeah. He said he couldn't have won without me.
Yeah.
Flat out said it.
He gave some numbers.
Oh, did he? Someone had just screenshot that.
He gave some, I think, House or Senate numbers. Let me look here.
So here's what I want to get clear. Here's why, because, you're really smart. You say anomalous a lot. And again, a lot of people that you got to listen, imagine the dumb people like Titus. So I want you people to hear from me for a second. So what he's saying is, and I'm sure most of you are getting it, but for those of you who don't quite understand what Nathan is saying, that when people voted in some of these states, the numbers are so weird because they voted president and below straight Democrat. But for some reason, they voted for the worst guy. They didn't vote any more Republicans, but except for Trump, or they didn't vote for president. That is almost impossible. Like the president, as everybody knows from throughout history, everybody thinks, most people don't even know who the down ballot people are.
It's usually the opposite. You vote for the president, not the down ballot.
Yeah.
All the time.
And so that happened over and over. And when he's talking about these votes.
Right. Yes.
She found it. You got it?
I remember this. Yeah. He said, without me, Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate.
That's very specific.
The numbers you're talking about?
That's a little too specific.
That's very specific.
That's a little too specific. Wow. Really?
Dems would control the House, and
we are seeing anomalies in the down ballot races, in the representative and Senate races across the swing state.
Which, if you remember from the prior election, that was what all indications were, is that we were going to take control of the House.
So here's the problem with not saying anything. Here's the problem with these Democrats, the weak-ass Democrats, and I'm so pissed at them, to not start throwing fucking bombs and dropping grenades on this, is because what'll happen is they're just going to do it again. You know, you have to go. I mean, I don't understand. These were supposed to be smart people to sit down in a room and go, guys, this is what happened. We need to plan and we need to roll this out. They need to get it out there. And the people that you've talked to have basically said, we don't want it because we don't want to look like we're doing what they did. Is that the whole point?
Right.
That's fucking.
From what we've understood, yeah.
But that's not but we're not doing what they did. They had some guy fucking talking shit. Now we have data evidence from 2020 and 2024 that shows no. These machines were fucked with.
It's actually a brilliant setup. It's a brilliant to
remember I said this,
pave the road that way and then steal the election.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yep. Cleared the path.
And as we talked about, a lot of the analysis we've looked at indicates concerns in 2020 as well. And
I saw that.
Said, if you equate it to a boy who cries wolf, let's say you tried to change things in 2020 and lost, and then you spend 4 years talking about, the other side cheated this and mail-in is fraudulent, and then you win and you pull it off.
Yeah.
And then now, it would be pretty difficult to then turn around and be like, hey.
It's also, but when you put it that way, it's
Mesa County clerk, the election lady, Tina, what was her name? Tina, she's in prison. Tina Clark? Peters? Tina Peters. Tina Peters, that was actually, he's calling her a political prisoner, but she allowed someone in to mess with the voting machines. She's become like a MAGA hero now, and she's still in jail.
What's interesting, we actually looked at her time in Mesa County, Colorado, and she did actually put out some reports about the second largest voting system, the Dominion voting machines being potentially, weak in security. And then, as you said, went on to be charged for working and helping compromise systems.
Everything we say, he already knows about. And you always have this little smile, like we're dumb little children, but we're catching on slowly. We're slowly.
I already made a slide for that. Hold on.
Yeah.